Okay guys, I've got another RUF set up here ready, and it's around Monza. Again, no assists. I really found that you could see the difference between ABS and ABS off on this track, and it kind of, I think it's about half a second on this track. Other tracks it's definitely maybe a little bit more, 600ths maybe. It's with the ABS on, you can just get on that brake that little bit late and just hard on the brake. Anyway, we're going to run through a quick little guide with the RUF, and we're going to brake. You'll just see there's a line that crosses the road, and it's just past the 200, and you'll see there we brake hard on that white line, down into first gear, trying to keep it nice and tight onto that curb, and onto the curb again, and hard on the power. You really need to get the exit. The exit of that corner is really key to getting this first sector good. You see now we're going to run into 6th gear. We ran a different setup on this video to what we actually did for the race, which I'll explain in the tuning after. But we're going to brake just short of the bridge again in this RUF there, braking nice and hard down into 2nd gear, and being careful not to turn in too early on that curb. Again, clip that curb but not too much the curb. Don't want to take too much off that curb or you'll bounce the car wide. Then we're going to go into 4th gear, then back down, and then stay in 4th gear, keeping it as tight as you can there. Run a little bit wide, but we managed to take quite good speed through the corner. We're going to go down into 3rd gear, then back into 4th gear on the corner there. So we're coming out the exit in 4th gear, giving us a nice run down into the next chicane, and we're going to brake again for this track. It's just before the bridge on the top there. We're going to go down into 4th gear, then into 3rd gear, coming into the corner. See there, just into 3rd gear, clipping the curb on the left, and hard on the power. It's getting into 4th gear and hard on the power all the way through the corner. Take a little bit curb. We ran a little bit wide on this lap. Wasn't perfect, but I think we can get away with that. That's quite a normal line that I've seen in all motorsport on this track. And then we're going to brake just before the 100 on the left. Now you'll see there, down into 4th gear. Don't go into 3rd gear. Stay in 4th gear. Keep it nice and tight on the inside there, and then hard on the power all the way to get the best exit as possible. And I think we go over the line for a 144.850. Like I said, it was very limited practice again. I think if I were to take it into a time trial and really have a good go, I could have got it into a 44.5. But you can really see the difference with the ABS. You can feel the difference. It definitely, ABS is giving us about, I think ABS on would give you about 400ths to half a second on that track. It's pretty much what I found on most tracks, to be honest. It's about half a second, not much more. We'll go through the setup quickly with you guys now. For this car on this track, I'll quickly talk about the changes that video didn't have on it that I made. Tyre pressures reasonably low. We wanted to get a lot of traction for this track, and obviously with not many bends you need to keep the temperatures up. Brake pressure 73. Found if you went a little bit higher you risk just locking up if you're hard on the brake pedal. You can go higher obviously, but I find you've got to be a lot more careful on the brake pedal. Brake balance 62. We wanted it front bias obviously for the hard braking that occurs in this track. Ducts would be 0%, but obviously we've changed all this stuff for the race setup. As you can see, the radiators will probably be on about 8% or something. Now the gearing, see the last one was all the way to the end. I actually ran it there, it's 1 click left like standard, because even in qualifying you were on the limiter, but I found there was no benefit of having it high. I got the exact same lap time doing that as I did going all the way up. The only benefit you'll get is in race that you may be able to overtake a little bit better with it on the right, but if you're hoping to be at the front of the grid, run it left, don't click it all the way to the right. You'll be slower overall in the race setup. Slip, you can see there we didn't go too high, only 10%, and the deceleration as usual 100%. On the bump stops, you can see we actually went quite high on them for this track. Obviously it's quite a bumpy track, and we weren't as aggressive as we normally would be with some of the settings on the suspension. As you can see, some were reasonably high, but others weren't as aggressive as we normally. 61 and 65. I didn't want as much of a forward rake as other tracks, because this track is more about the braking, like straight line acceleration and braking. So we didn't go for the as higher rear end as we would normally. All the camber angles slightly lower than what we would normally as well, because there's no real corners. We wanted it to be nice and smooth for good acceleration. Downforce 0.1. It's the only way you can run around this track if you want to be competitive really for this car. Suspension settings as usual. I mean the force feedback as usual, don't change them. So that's the settings I used, and it won me the race again. It was really comfortable in the 20 lap race we did, or it's actually 15 laps because it got shortened. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with the replay of that lap, and I hope this video helps, and remember guys, make sure you click that like button, and subscribe if I'm helping you out with these videos. Thanks again guys, see you.